I want to share with you a stock that I believe very strongly in. It's Navitas. It's in the semiconductor field, but doesn't really make semiconductors. It's changing the makeup of the silicone that goes into the wafers, as I understand it, with something else that increases the efficiency of the chip, reduces the heat, and speeds up the power. I'm going to introduce you to Gene Sheridan. He's the CEO and co-founder of the company, and let him explain it to you a little bit further. But my commitment started on 4/16/24, and I bought some at $4.02, and I've been dollar cost averaging into it. That I'm up now to 3,500 shares, and I've got about $13,000 invested in it. And I suspect that when I get done, and I'm trying to buy another 1,000 shares today. When I get done at the end of 2026, this will be worth about $250,000. Why I bought it is it's a depressed stock. It's down 52% this year, and I think the world is just not aware of it. So I got this copy of this interview. Brian sent it to me. If you remember, Brian also sent me the interview with Michael Dell and Jensen Huang and Bill McDermott that I thought was so influential on what we're doing in the future. So watch this interview, and then we'll get back to this.
Give me a sense. How has the AI trade impacted demand and also investor perception of your company?
Yeah, that's right. So semiconductors are actually down with the big exception of AI. We're not shipping to AI today, so our stock price reflects that. But that's about to change dramatically. AI requires an exponential growth in power. We make energy efficient power chip technology that's about to go into AI data centers to deliver that power very energy efficiently.
All right, so the real idea here is that you want to be like the picks and shovel of this AI trade. You're not necessarily the chip that people are going to use in a data center, but the idea is that you can support, some of the moves that people are trying to make to reduce their power cost and also be more efficient with their data centers. Why do you think investors aren't quite getting that you are one of those picks and shovels companies? What do you think the disconnect is? Because, of course, power is such a big part of this story.
Yeah, it's just rolling out. Everything's developing very quickly. A year ago, we didn't see this coming. Nobody saw it coming. But luckily, we developed new technology. It's called gallium nitride and silicon carbide. These are new energy efficient power chip technologies that make power supplies more energy efficient. We can deliver up to 3 times faster power, more powerful power delivery in half the size with better energy efficiency. The technology is just coming out now. We started sampling late last year. Our customers are integrating it into data center power supplies as we speak. They'll start ramping later this year, and this will be tens of millions for us next year, hundreds of millions in the future. So it's all unfolding right as we speak.
You know, Gene, I know you're talking your own book, but I've done some research. Another company, Omdia, they actually put out a note just recently saying that GaN, which is your core chip business, GaN specifically could help operators save in 3 areas: energy loss, the cost of cooling data centers, and the space required for servers. So there seems to be a consensus that your tech can help. But I also want to ask you about some of your customers: AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Samsung, Dell, a lot of huge names. What are they saying to you about their demand for these chips to use in their data centers? Are they telling you they're just focused on AI chips right now? Like, why aren't you seeing a big uptick in business with this big shift to data centers?
It's about rolling it out. The development time for power supplies into data centers is about 18 months. We're trying to cut that in half as we speak. So what they're telling me is go faster, hurry up with these developments, get these into power supplies, get these into data centers. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're tripling the power delivery in about 12 months when that would normally take years in a traditional sense. So it's about speed now and solving this power problem as fast as we can.
All right, it's not all about AI, of course. You also provide chips that help power cell phones, computers, other things like that. What are you hearing on the demand side of that? We're hearing a lot of talk about a possible big upswing and super cycle when it comes to PCs because of AI. I know it's not all about AI, but I'm talking about the hardware here.
That's right. So we're already converting traditional silicon chips to fast charge your phones, tablets, or laptops, like you talked about, Frank, 3 times faster charging in half the size, half the weight. Who doesn't want that? Everybody wants faster charging. We're now starting to do that for the same thing in electric vehicles, onboard chargers. Big demand for these sorts of things. Our revenue has tripled in the last 2 years. So we see big demand for it. Despite the slowdown, we can keep growing because we're displacing existing silicon in existing markets, driving that continued growth.
Okay, that's Novartis and Gene Sheridan. And I hope you can see this is a depressed company that, because of EV sales, because of the lack of phone sales, mobile phones and PCs, their business has been depressed. Their stock price is down 52% in the past year. But I think you can also see that there are some very green fields in front of Novartis in multiple fields. And I think the one that is really the impact that my takeaways are, they're going to reduce the heat, reduce the energy consumption in data centers. They're going to decrease the time that it takes to charge everything from our phones to our electric vehicles. This Gene is sitting on a gold mine about to explode, I think. And why isn't Wall Street involved in it? That's the same question Frank asked. And I think it's a genuine question. Probably because it's a $3, $4 stock. They don't want to play in that game. They aren't interested in it. They just don't want to put their attention to it. But we do. We at Best of Us Investors want some of this in our portfolio, of course, in addition to Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, and NVIDIA. Those companies that are screaming their lungs out that we're the thing you want to be involved in. And right now, today, a lot of these, and I'm speaking about specifically Friday today, there's some opportunities. I bought some back into Dell today. I had held off until their earnings call. And I advised you to do that last week. And I think now I'm buying into Dell. And I got to share with you. I contacted Dell today and said, I want to talk to you about buying an AI factory. I want one sitting right there. I want it to run my business. I explained to my lawyer this morning how he better become knowledgeable of an AI factory or it's going to put him out of business. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. I'm learning a lot. I want to share my learnings with you. And I want you to understand what I told you in the beginning of this. I wouldn't have found this interview if it wasn't from Brian. Brian is one of our followers. He's up in Nashville. He's a football coach. He's a high school teacher. And he's becoming my research assistant. Thank you, Brian. Keep up the good work, and let's continue to work together.